Welcome to Improv for the podcast. On this week's episode, we're joined by Diana, who will tell us all about her improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games, and most importantly, learn how she improv'd her life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the podcast. I'm your host, Michael E. Evans, and today I'm joined by the incredibly talented, longtime IFTP member, multi-talented artist, math expert, Diana. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Diana, we recently saw you on Camp Chat.
Yeah.
A couple episodes ago, but how are you doing this evening, this night?
I'm doing great.
Doing great.
I got my coffee because I'm more of a morning person, so I thought I got to have my coffee. I could have grabbed some candy too on the way over, but then traffic was kind of bad. Yeah, and it predicted 30 minutes, but it took a little more than that. So I was glad we had a little chill time on that.
Yeah. Just like ease into it. Because, it's hard to just like show up somewhere and then jump right into recording something.
I got to calm down.
Yeah. I got to settle in, get used to the chair, figure out where the bathroom is, all the important stuff. The important stuff, yeah. So Diana, would you be able to give us like a quick summary, like maybe 3 sentences of how you got started at this old place, this old IFTP?
Well, okay, so I used to live in Ridgecrest, and I did improv up there. I did a lot of acting up there. It's a science company town, and a lot of scientists are doing acting, and they have their own acting theater. So when I came down here, I started at the LA Comedy Connection, and then I moved out to, because I lived in Studio City, and then I moved out to Marina Del Rey. And I was looking up places to do improv because I really wanted to keep up with that because I love it. And I found Promenade Playhouse. And so I thought, well, that's close, so I'll go there. And that was where I met Matt. And Matt was working there for the Promenade Playhouse. And then he was, we did a year of doing the, we did a year of the acting and the improv class. And then he started his own. He said, hey, come on over with me. And then we went over to, I think it's called the Baroque Theater. It's a jailhouse.
Yeah, he always said, we started in prison.
And it was haunted, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never saw it. I'm really upset because I always go to these haunted places, and they never really approach me. Well, I guess they kind of do, but, I ignore it because it's too illogical. But anyway, so I started there. So it kind of just, every time we moved, I just went along, and we have a friendship, and it's great.
Yeah, so you've been there since the beginning. Since the beginning. Since improv in prison.
Even before improv.
Before improv in prison, that's true. Before Matt went to prison.
Yeah. It took us with him.
That's amazing. All right. Well, we're going to dive into that a little more in just a few moments. But before we do, Diana, we got to play some 3 things.
Okay.
All right. So in this version of 3 things, it's a little bit more focused on you.
Yeah.
So on Camp Chat, we worried about camp. We worried about nature. We worried about the woods. But tonight, it's about you. 3 things. Personal edition.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. We're going to go over 3 categories. You know the deal. You list 3 things from those categories. Here we go. These are 3 things. First category, breeds of cat.
Tabby, Abyssinian,
1, 2,
and Manx.
3. That was so fast. I couldn't keep up with my counting. So good. Next category. We'll say art mediums.
Painting,
1,
watercolor,
2,
pastel.
3. Last category. Favorite projects you've written.
Company Christmas,
1,
Moonlight Road,
2,
and they're so good. Hollywood Zombies.
3. These are 3 things. All right, very nice, very nice. Wow, you were quick on all of those. I'm
very good on the subject of me.
That's true. But yeah, you'd be surprised. Not to throw any shade, but some people, they're like, and I'm like, it's you. Well, it happens. It's a weeknight. A lot of folks, we all work today. So.
I read my Instagram too.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I was like, oh, Diana's giving me all the research I need right here. Appreciate it. It made my job easy. So that first category, why did I ask you about breeds of cats?
Because I like cats.
Yeah,
And I put cats in my movies too.
There you go.
And I was thinking about this because I figured, well, people always ask me when I put we put our cats in the movies. And I was thinking they're the ultimate improvers because we don't ask them or train them to do anything. They just do their stuff and then we write the story about it.
And it's just, you just let it happen. I love that. Cats are improvisers. I think I see that. Okay, we're gonna go on a tangent here. I need advice.
Okay.
So there is so my wife and I, we have a dog right now. Our dog's older. She's about to turn 14.
Oh wow.
And for let's say the past maybe 3 months, there's been a local street cat, if you will, that comes to our doorstep every night, and we've fallen victim to its tricks. It's a cute little cat. We've given it a nickname.
What's the name?
Clem, short for Clementine. We have a little bag of treats, but we haven't fully committed to this cat because we haven't brought it inside. We haven't adopted it. My wife, she really wants to, and I'm on the fence. So I like cats, but I'm just like, oh, another pet. Because when you want to go away on vacation, you got to make sure someone takes care of the pet. So what should I do about this sweet Clem? And Clem, she's so cute. Last night I was out there and she was rubbing on my leg, and I was like, oh dang it, Clem.
I think that there's a theory that cats find people. And basically, she's adopted you, so I think there's no turning back, and it'll be a friend for your dog.
That's true. Yeah, our dog they interact on the porch.
Oh, that's it.
They're not fighting. They're not,
That's it. You're in. You're stuck.
Oh, I got it. All right.
You got a new little friend.
All right. I'll talk to my wife when we get home because I'm like, oh man.
I mean, it'll just be great because they'll play with each other. I mean, we got our cats through kitten rescue, and they said you have to get two because they interact and play with each other. So I think your dog will be it'll keep your dog young.
Yeah, and help her be less lonely when we're gone during the day at work or. You're making some good points here, Diana. You're making some good points.
Clem is in the bag.
Yeah, well, because it's like my thinking was like, well, if we pick this cat, we're gonna have this cat for the next 15 years. Just thinking.
Is it a baby cat?
Yeah, it's very young. We've seen her grow a little bit during her time on the street. So it's like, man, this cat will be with us whoa, a long time.
But I think it'll be really good for your dog. What's your dog's name?
Her name's Claire. So Claire and Clem.
Clem and Claire.
It's a great.
I think it's a done deal.
Oh man.
Go home, call her up, call up your wife right now and say, let Clem in.
Gotta head to Petco, pick up some litter supplies. That conversation was, well, if we did get a litter box, where would it go? And we've had all those conversations.
I think it's pretty much a done deal at this point.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot. She's so cute. Oh man.
And you're saving her.
Yeah, that's true too. We're doing a good thing. Well, we don't even know if she's a she. We just decided, but we didn't ask. Yeah.
Well, you'll take her to the vet.
Yeah, get all that, get her shots, and oh man, okay. Well, I'll let you know. It's tough. She's playing a game every time I go out there. She's like, oh hey, remember me? I'm cute. And it's like, you are. You're right.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
And she's friends with the dog. So there's what would be the reason not?
Right. Yeah, because cats are more independent. They need less care than a dog would.
But they are very loving. If you love them, they're very loving.
That's true. They are very loving. Yeah, we don't really have carpet or anything. All right. Next category. Clem, we'll talk later. Why'd I ask you about different art mediums?
Because I'm also an artist. And that's actually what I started out doing. Oh, that was my original timeline.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched Fringe, the TV show Fringe.
A little, when it was airing. Yeah.
So it's all about timelines.
Yes.
And so I was on this original timeline to be an artist. That's what the first thing I did was pick up a pencil and draw. And my dad wanted a doctor in the family, a medical doctor. So I was the youngest, so I got pushed on the hardest for that. So if someone else in my family had become a doctor, I'd be on the art path. So I've always done that my entire life, And the parents would say, do the practical thing, go into physics, right? And parents. And so I always did that. So I've started trying to show all my artwork. So I've started putting out my pictures just to see if people like them. And I noticed I have over 400 pictures.
Wow.
Because I've been doing it since I was a kid, basically. And I kept them. And, sorry, I hope you take that out.
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, so so I have all those 400. It's probably funny to keep it in. Anyway, it's 400 pictures. So I've just been putting them up on my Instagram and putting on my Facebook just to see, kind of suss people out and see if people like them. And then they like them. So then I joined this art group. It's kind of a commercial thing where they do all the work and put things up and nice. Try to sell it because I want to see if that works. Because I'm thinking about going back to this time, the art timeline. So I have to say, I am actually doing better than Vincent van Gogh because I have officially sold 3 pieces.
Wow.
And he only sold 1. Yeah.
Take that, Van Gogh. Right. Yeah, because it was after his death, right?
Yeah.
There's that strange thing, right? Where like some artists.
It's so sad because it's like that immersion one that he goes into. And it's kind of sad that he can't know that people are capitalizing. I mean, I don't see they're not doing anything wrong, but it's just kind of sad that I think he would have been very happy too.
Yeah, he never got to realize his success. Or like Edgar Allan Poe was the same way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like all his short stories, there's so many people who are like that.
And he was even kind of sabotaged by somebody too. So there's a whole story about that.
Oh, wow.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Oh, poor Poe. Poor Van Gogh.
Poor Poe. Poor Van Gogh. Yeah. It's like a song.
They'll never know.
They'll never know. Wow, we just wrote a song there.
There we go. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. All right. Last category for you, Diana. I forgot. Oh, yeah. So I asked you about the favorite projects you've written. So tell me about a couple of those. You said Company Christmas Carol. Is that what it was?
No, it's Company Christmas.
Company
and
Christmas.
Actually, Matt was in it. A bunch of IFTP people were in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
We did a stage show in April. And then we made a radio play version that you can look up on my webpage. Can I plug?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So it's Diana Woody on YouTube. Diana Woody on YouTube. And it's, you look under Atomic Cat Productions. Since I like science and I like cats, it's Atomic Cat. Yeah. So that's what you look up on my YouTube. And you have Company Christmas, you have Uber Ride, you have Moonlit Road, and you have Best Friends Forever. 4 radio plays, because I love radio plays.
Oh, yeah.
So Company Christmas is based on my dad, who was a spy. And I can actually say that. And so allegedly before I was born.
Yeah.
And so when I said it in 1961, which is earlier because I wanted to correlate with the World War II. So it's actually earlier than it occurred. But he would go out for some reason. I don't know if you know Maryland. Do you know the area?
Not, I've
the Washington
been,
Metropolitan
Yeah,
area?
I've been like the DMV. Yeah.
So he would say, I've got to go out to Frederick to pick up some groceries. And he'd be gone for hours. And that was the equivalent of like living in Los Angeles area and going out to saying, I have to go to Palmdale to pick up some groceries. Why? Right?
Yeah, that's...
Like they're better, right? So he'd be gone. So my brother and I, after he died, kind of said, do you think he was doing runs, still doing runs? Because he was supposed to be retired, but he was still doing some kind of runs for, the spy thingy. So at any rate, that was the seed for the story. It's basically about a guy who's his former spy, allegedly, and then all the intrigue. And I liked that the whole point was it's like the 60s. And you know, they always say, oh, things were so much nicer back in the 60s. Yeah. It's like, no. So everything out in the living room is that kind of sitcom, 60s kind of vibe of everything's perfect. And all the intrigue happens in the kitchen. So it's like that. And then it's all camp and over the top and stuff like that.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then other ones were like Best Friends Forever, which was a ghost story based on my friend who died, basically. And it was initially interesting because the initial story right after he happened, I use writing as a coping mechanism. Yeah. And it was very, very dark. And then over the years, it turned into this comedy thing.
It shifted over time.
It did. Yeah. It's like, okay, I got over it, I guess. Or not, you don't get over your friend, but I mean, you do kind of grow. But I looked at the original version because it started as a little short play. Boy, was that dark. And then now it's just kind of comical and lighthearted story. Wow. So that one, Uber Ride, that's kind of based on a little script that I wrote for when we had script writing in the class years and years ago. So that's a couple. Moonlit Road is based on a Ambrose Bierce ghost story. So any more? Tons more.
I want to check out the radio plays for sure.
Yeah,
that sounds
those
like
are the 4 radio plays.
4 radio plays because you do short films as well, right? You got everything covered.
Yeah. For writing, I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So you've been doing. So I know you said you've been doing like art, like visual art, since you were a kid. Have you been writing since you were a kid as well? Like
yes,
writing, whatever. That not necessarily like short films or radio plays, but just writing whatever, writing creatively.
Oh yeah, because it was kind of my coping mechanism. So, and then if I don't understand something, it's like someone's behavior is weird, or it's like I have to overanalyze it. That's the science part. It's like I'm an overanalyzer. And then also all my siblings and my parents, of course my parents, were all significantly older than I was. My parents were 40 years older. My siblings were 11 to 18 years older.
Yeah, wow.
So when you're a little kid, you don't get a lot of attention, and it's hard to get your point across. So I would get my point across through sarcasm and humor. And the best part that I liked was that I would say, if they were doing something and I kind of, was razzing them about it in the story, they'd say, yeah, but it's well written. We like it. So they encouraged it, even though I was kind of like, but you realize I'm making fun of you. Oh, that's fine, but it's well written. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice job writing.
We enjoy it, yeah.
You're like,
but he got the point across.
Yeah, I got the point across.
So, I've been doing those 2 things, writing and art. In fact, my favorite toy when I was a kid was a tape recorder. And I love to make little stories on that.
Oh, yeah. You can have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, that's a powerful tool to have as a kid. You can record something, wind it back, I can hear it again. You go, play, pause, all these different things that you can do.
Or 2 people, I do one and I did the other one. That was the one I wanted every year. But they started it because they wanted to teach me how to read. So it was so I did that, and then I just fell in love with it, having the tape recorder.
So you're like, wait, what else can I do with this?
Exactly.
Yeah, reading's fine. Yeah, I'm going to go have fun.
Something creative.
Yeah. Yeah, you expanded upon it. That's really cool. All right, Diana.
Yes.
So we've talked about some cats. We've talked about some art. We've talked about writing. But I want to get down to why we're here. Improv.
Yes.
Right. So
I just improv that.
Very good. I want you to think back to, I guess, when was the first time in your life that you heard about, maybe someone whispered it to you about like improv? Just the first time you learned what improv is or was, or maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't fully understand it. When was that?
I would say, when I was in Ridgecrest, before here, they had a big acting community. You wouldn't think it's a small little town, but they had a very big acting community. And one of the teachers taught improv. So that was my first time dealing with it. And I just kind of fell in love with it because I've done acting. I did acting there. That was my first acting there. Was the had 240 lines. It was for Mousetrap.
Oh my gosh, 240 lines.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of lines.
That's a lot of lines.
Yeah.
And it was the first time. And I basically just went in there because I thought, well, I've done backstage before in the theater in high school, so maybe I'll do that. And I get the lead in Mousetrap.
Oh my gosh.
And then I just freaked out because I went 240 lines.
That's insane.
So the reason I love improv is because I don't have to memorize.
Because you don't have 240 lines. Yeah. And what an introduction.
I know.
Like, all right, here you go. Here's all your lines. Break a leg up there.
I know. And then I had a friend say to me, well, you don't have to do it. And that made me want to do it.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, what? No, I have to do this. I actually did have one with, I was Roxanne in one of the plays, Cyrano de Bergerac, and that had 800 lines. Do you know how many actors don't actually count their lines?
Yeah,
I do.
I've never counted, but I can't say I've ever had 800 before.
It was a lot. But it takes a lot of time to memorize that.
That's just, and now I'm trying to think, okay, plays I've done, no way. No, it's like 800 lines.
I had to spend all my free time just memorizing that, and I'm not good at it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So prior to getting involved in this, I guess, like theater acting community with, and then improv there, were you growing up, were you interested in performing at all? Was it something you did? Or you're more like kind of behind the scenes?
Well, okay, like I mentioned before, my siblings and my parents are old. Of course, my parents are silly, but they're all a lot older.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you have a little kid, this isn't just me. It's like most little kids. Even Mark Twain mentioned it, that when you have a little kid around that spends practically all their time around adults, they say strangely adult things. Once in a while, they'll just throw something out there, and you'll say, "Whoa!" So, and then that sounds so adult.
Yeah.
And then I watched all the sitcom TV shows and stuff, and so I would say things that were just a little more mature, just because it would just come out, because I'd see that, right? And they liked it a lot. You can either be discouraged and have an older person say, well, you're a smart aleck, or you can have someone say, hey, that's really funny.
Yeah.
So then they encouraged it, and that's when I got the acting bug.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to put on a show for these people.
Yeah.
So
you're probably imitating what you saw on TV, or, trying to be involved in the conversation, right?
Yeah. And just say these kind of offhand, kind of sarcastic little things. And they liked it, so I would do that. And I remember thinking, oh, I have to keep putting this up. This show, it's a little tiring. What am I going to come up with? So I just always had the acting bug. But then in high school, I did one show that no one's ever heard of and no one will ever hear of again. Someone just wrote it, and for some reason,
oh yeah,
it's called Don't Blow the Whistle. I don't know. No one's ever heard about it.
Is that about a train?
No, it wasn't. It was about tourists who gets kidnapped in a foreign country, and it's kind of stupid. But
I'm gonna find it. I want to read it.
It's really ridiculous.
I want to buy a print copy.
If you can find it, let me know, because I don't think anyone's ever heard it. I don't know why. They must have. The director must have. Had a friend who wrote this thing. Yeah. Because then, it was like Music Man, Pajama Game.
Oh, yeah. Pajama Game. I like that show. I've been in that show. Yeah. I'm fond of it.
Or Guys and Dolls, that kind of stuff.
There's the few classics you run through. All right, guys, what's our season this year?
Yeah. And then it's Don't Blow the Whistle. Who's that?
Yeah.
But, yes, I can't remember. We did that one. So that was the first one I did. I was actually I had 2 lines.
It's a lot less than 240. Yeah.
It is.
A lot less than 800.
But after that, I kind of got into the theater technicians. So like the lights and the follow spots. And that was my first paying job, was running the follow spots, because in our theater in Montgomery County, it was just a really nice theater. They put a lot of money into it. So I think it was the Doily Art, the Savoyards, they would come in and do Gilbert and Sullivan, and use our theater auditorium because it was so good. So I got to run follow spots for that, and that was my first paid job.
Wow, that's exciting! Yeah, follow spots are cool. I never got to do spot, but I've done stage crew and all that sort of thing. Been in the booth, but spot.
Oh yeah, the booth.
I missed out.
Oh, you missed out on that. Yeah, it's hard. It's kind of scary because you have to go up to the catwalk.
Oh right, yeah. Jealous. That's pretty cool. All right. So you were in Don't Blow the Whistle. Then you were like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm going to work with the crew. That seems better. But at some point, well, I guess, you went to college, started your career, and you got involved with this community at Ridgecrest. Was there any performing between, I guess, or like theater performing involvement between your theater crew job and your time in Ridgecrest?
No, there wasn't.
No.
Actually, because I lived in Maryland, and it was kind of hard to get to places. And the advantage of Ridgecrest is it's a very small little town, and there's not much to do there. So you have in small towns, sometimes if you have that, you have a lot of people really interested in acting. It had a very big theater community. Like, that was it. And so that was the social life and hanging out with those people. And it was kind of like this. It's like, you have your group of friends, and it was all ages in that community theater from like 13 up to like 70, 80 kind of thing.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
you're dealing with, it was like it was total community theater.
Yeah, everybody's involved.
Yeah. So
I love that.
That was a lot of fun. So that was a little group of people I would hang out with a lot. So, but before that, that was the first I had ever auditioned, and I remember doing the backstage, and that's why I decided to just try that. And they said, "Oh, just try out," and then
here you go, Mousetrap.
Yeah. Mousetrap, the lead, 240 lines.
What? And then it kicked off from there. All right.
I did. I fell in love. I got the bug.
And you got the bug. Well, you had it all along, right?
Yeah.
You had it all along. You just didn't know how to. you hadn't been given a way to channel that, a formal way. Yeah. All right. So you're in Ridgecrest. You're memorizing your lines, and then this teacher shows up, and they're like, "Hey, come try out improv." So what was your experience like? I guess starting improv for the first time.
It was fun because I didn't have to memorize, and then it just gave us a freedom. I like that freedom with improv that you can just think of stuff. So it's also a freedom, but it's also just your brain going all the time. But then you want to go free because you want to like not overthink it, which I like to do sometimes. So it was just charming to me.
Yeah. And what kind of stuff did y'all do? Was it like short form games or?
Gosh, that was a while long ago. I think it was more like short form kind of things and games. Basically, we played a lot of games because it was basically at the community college up there, but they taught all these classes that all ages could go to. So it was more of like the games and stuff. She was kind of introducing us to it.
Yeah, just kind of giving you a taste and probably finding stuff that would help with maybe the plays as well, you know, memorizing all those lines. Oh, it's 800 lines.
800, it's crazy.
I don't want to think about that.
And I just spent all my time doing it. So that's when I decided I don't want to be an actor.
Yeah, you're like,
too many lines.
Yeah, I'll do this for fun, but...
But I know people that... I had an acting teacher that she had to jump in because someone fell out of a play. And she goes, oh, this is so hard. She was going through menopause at the time. And she said, it's so hard. It's going to take so long to memorize it. And it took her like a couple of days for a whole part. And it's like, wait, that's you with your memory gone?
Yeah.
What do you sound like with a great memory? Some people are good. My husband's really good at it. He can memorize stuff.
Yeah.
He can remember songs. I'm always like, I got the first 3 lines, and then that's it. I don't know.
It takes me time. I record myself saying the lines, and then I listen to it back. I'll be in the car, wake up in the morning, I'll say it to myself and be like, that's what I do. I haven't had to do that for a while, but when I did.
Oh, really? You've done songs and stuff?
Oh yeah, well, memorizing songs or just memorizing lines. I did an acting program in college, so it was just memorizing all the time, monologues and scenes.
It takes so much time.
Yeah,
that's why I love the improv, and I just really it's like making up a story. I find that it helps me write. And I've told Matt this before. We're going to bring up Matt that sometimes when I'm writing. Because he'd say in improv, he'd always say, react to that, right? So I said, Matt, sometimes in my head, when I'm writing a character, I hear you yelling, react to that. He goes, I yell in your head? I said, sometimes.
Yeah. I hear your voice.
I hear your voice, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've known Matt for many years, so I think that makes sense to so he's the improv voice in your head.
You can yell in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always thought of or like heard the term like improv is just writing on your feet. You know, that's all it really is because you are writing. You're coming up with it on the spot, but it's your brain going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And just collaboratively writing it with another person.
With another person. Yeah. And that's the fun part actually because I have had to learn to not be in control and not think things out. And I think it's a wonderful ride when you just sit and wait for the other person and just take their gifts.
Yes.
That is so nice. And not come in with an agenda. I think that's the biggest thing I learned in the IFTP improv is learning not to come in with an agenda. And I think that really helps in life too. It's just to listen to people and not sit there and think, okay, they're talking, but now I'm thinking about what I'm going to say when they stop talking.
When is it my turn?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Like I still catch myself going into a scene, you're like, I got a premise. And like, wouldn't this be funny if it goes this way? But you just gotta let it go. It
kind of fails when you do that.
Oh, it always does. Always does.
And you think it's the funniest darn thing. And then it's like, fail.
You're like, man, I'm good. Oh, I'm not good.
I'm so good now.
Yeah, and it's like, save that premise, if you thought of something like that, great, but save it for a sketch or, write it down, use it later, use it in something else.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So jumping back to Ridgecrest. Okay. Ridgecrest, you moved to Marina Del Rey. And you get involved. It was the something Playhouse. I forgot. It started with the P.
Oh wait, it started at Studio City.
Studio City, yeah.
Because I took I just took off from work for a year and went to to a film school there, and then I kind of had to go back to work. So I moved out to Marina Del Rey, and that's where I did the Promenade Playhouse.
Promenade Playhouse,
where I met Matt.
You met Matthew Moore.
Matthew Moore.
And you said at Promenade Playhouse you were doing just like acting classes, improv classes?
Just the improv class.
Okay, just the improv class.
Because I did it out in Studio City, and then when I moved out to Marina Del Rey, I wanted to continue doing that.
Okay. Yes, because at that point, you know, improv and acting at Ridgecrest, then LA Comedy Connection, right? That's in Studio City, and then Promenade Playhouse. I'm getting it. All right, and then you met Matthew Moore. So, all right, I gotta ask, what was what was Matthew Moore like in those days?
Kind of the same.
Yeah.
He hasn't really changed a lot. Kind of wacky. In fact, you can't, if you dig deep into my Facebook, you can find a picture of me and a couple of other people and Matt, and we had a little group for some reason for like a week called Group Chartreuse or something like that. Cause
Chartreuse.
just pick an obscure color.
Yeah.
Because it's like orange, right? Or is it green?
I think so.
Yeah.
Orangey.
Don't
check me on that. Yeah.
I probably threw that out just because it seemed kind of weird.
That's right, though.
Esoteric, yeah.
Yeah. Chartreuse.
So kind of intense. I liked it. It's absolutely fun. So I've stayed with it. I like that whole his intensity of interest in it, and then the fact that it's kind. I mean, I've taken acting classes at some places where they aren't as kind.
Yeah.
And I've talked to other people, and they've had experiences. I think back in the days, they weren't so kind. They would. It was like a marathon. You can't take Halloween off, or you can't do this if you're really intense. But this is a very kind environment, I think.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you're doing classes at the Promenade Playhouse.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, you know, you've been doing improv a little while then, huh? So you're experienced. And this guy from the Chartreuse troupe goes.
Our troupe.
Yeah. From your troupe, the Chartreuse. I can't even say it. I can't say that word.
Group Chartreuse.
Group Chartreuse. That's a tongue twister at this point. He's like, hey, I'm going to jail to start my own improv studio. What made you, just his kindness and like you'd seen his work, you were like, yeah, I think I'll go. I'll trust this guy.
Because it was fun. I had fun. I mean, I was doing it mainly for fun, and I needed a creative outlet, and I prefer creative outlets, because I went to the other and so I just followed him. He said, "Let's go," and I said, "Okay, let's go." I'm pretty mellow that way.
And there you go. You're like,
there we go.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean that's an improviser's attitude, though. You're like, yes, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I think a lot of my life has been people saying, "Why don't you do this?" And I'll say, "Okay."
Yeah, you're like,
okay,
sounds good.
I kind of yes and, but in kind of a mellow way, like okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, more casual. You know, go with the flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
See where it takes you, and you'll figure things out once you get there. I like that though. I think that's a good attitude to have a lot of times. It's easier to go about life with that attitude.
Yeah.
Instead of fighting everything.
I know.
Fighting change and.
I like the easy.
Yeah. That's good. All right. So, you are, I think, the longest tenured IFTP member. You're an honorary IFTP member, I would say. Huzzah indeed. So I want to ask, what have you seen stay the same, and what have you seen change over the years? Maybe besides the facility, of course. We're not in jail.
And there's no ghosts.
I know.
Why can't I see ghosts?
A little disappointing.
I don't like me.
There's the ghost light. The Pico. Yeah.
I did my Catherine Hepburn laugh.
Got me. Oh, that was good. That was good, Diana.
Thank you. Well, what stayed the same is that he's very interested in what he's doing and his people. He cares. You know, this is really important to him. And what I really like, and I know him well enough to know that he used to work in the hotel business, and he's kind of like a little hero in the sense that he just said, "I'm just going to dump the hotel job and go pursue his dream," and that was super cool. So I wish I had the nerve to do that.
It's hard,
but I'm going to soon. And so that's kind of stayed the same. His intensity and his caring, and just like that. I think what's kind of changed is he's really researching stuff now. Like you can tell that he's been reading a lot of books, and he says, and all this stuff. So he's really, he's just getting more and more into it. It's becoming his baby, and it was kind of neat to see that grow from, I'm just doing this, after my other work, and now it's just become his entire family. I feel like it's his family.
Yeah.
You can't say he doesn't have kids. He has kids. We're all his kids.
That's true. I don't even know how many, 100 plus. Easily. Yeah, I don't know how many members. There's quite a few.
There's a few, yeah. It's really grown.
Yeah, especially right now. There's like 1 million classes every night. There's like 15 teachers. I don't even know.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, if you ever worry about whether you should just go and follow your dream, then why not?
Yeah.
Worst you can do is fail, and then you go back and get the other job.
Yeah, then at least you've answered the question.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do with my art, is just kind of put it out there and see if I can actually sell more than... And I've passed Vincent van Gogh, so...
You've passed Van Gogh?
Yeah.
So, take that.
Well, really dissing Van Gogh, but...
He's not going to know. Yeah.
Maybe, well, I don't know. Yeah. I'll get spirit, a ghost follow me tonight. Hey, you, don't stop picking on me. Sorry.
Well, we're gonna watch out for that ghost. I gotta get some we gotta get some ghost hunters, I guess, not busters, but hunters. Maybe take them to the Pico sometime and see if they can.
If they have that,
check out the facilities. Yeah.
Well,
or here.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had experience with ghosts that people said I had. It was an experience with ghosts, and I tell it, but I'm always thinking practically.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me, but I've told the story before, and they said that was a ghost experience. So
there you go. It may have been a ghost. May have.
Yeah.
Can't be sure. All right, Diana. So thinking about let's call it your improv career thus far. I think you've touched on this a little bit, related to not coming in with a plan, right, and giving up control, and then also, right, I guess we'd call it active listening, right, instead of just being here's my response. How do you think, just as an improviser, how have you grown or changed as an improviser during your improv career?
During my improv career, I feel that, like I said, I'm trying to yes and more and pay more attention and let the other person talk and not come in with an agenda. Basically, that's it. Because I think also, in my life, I do that too much. And it's really, you want to be in control, and I think I need to let that go. So I think that's how I've grown, because I think I was always writing the story, and now I just kind of let it go with it. And it's such a wave. It's such a nice wave when you do that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So how do you think, this is going to be a two-pronged question. It's a two-tined, if we're using a fork. So the first part, with your artistic career, right? I'm going to divide it into your day job and your artistic career. What impact do you think improv has had on your artistic career? I mean, your writing, your visual arts.
I think that I'm less held back by things, because I know in acting, I used to think, if I play a bad person or an evil person or something like that, I might get judged for it. Or for writing, I think if I write something very horrific, I might get judged for it, and then I just don't. I just do it. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just go and write that. And then that stuff really appeals to people, because you kind of like seeing villains. Villains are very interesting people, because in a way, you don't want to actually meet a villain. You don't want to be a villain. But it's kind of like us looking at that and saying, this is the what if. And that's kind of the thing with the improv, is that it's the what if kind of thing. Let's just keep going with it. Because, we're practical people. We don't want to die. So we make good choices, basically, right? As opposed to horror films. Yeah. But I think those kind of horror films or that kind of stuff gives you the opportunity to see what would happen if you had chosen that, right? You go down a road and you see a van with no windows. And in your mind, you say, it's dark. I think I'll turn the other way, right? But isn't there a little part of you that says, I kind of want to know what happens if I went in there?
Yeah.
And that's what writing's all about, is that kind of just go with it. Don't hold back. And I think that's what that's really helped me with writing and with the acting is not worrying about that, but just going with the whole, just yes-anding it. Like, okay, this will make it worse. And that's the other thing I've learned in that I love is that just make things worse. That's so much more interesting.
Yeah.
It's so fulfilling because we don't want to do that. It's dangerous and scary, but there is a part of us that I think wants to know what happens if they did make those horrible choices. And I mean, real horrible choices, like going up the attic when the ghost of the house says get out. Why?
Yeah.
Right?
What are you doing? But yeah, we want to see him do that.
Yeah, you want to see him do that.
Yeah.
And then the second part, I think, is that we get a certain satisfaction of going, well, we wouldn't do that.
Well, I wouldn't. No, that's not a smart choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the smart choice I would make.
Yeah. That's very true. I like that. Yeah, just make things worse. I mean, that's what we want to do in improv scenes. And I mean in writing too. Like you said, it's the unexplored.
Yeah, because you want to see that. Because I love making things worse. Because Matt will say that, we're polite people, so we make things better. Like if you said, oh, I've had a horrible day, and I'd say, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, we want to fix it.
But what if I said, well, you deserve a horrible day?
Yeah. Good. Like, I'm glad you had one. Yeah. Like, what? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I know. It makes good theater, but it doesn't make good life.
Makes good theater, but doesn't make good life. Oh, it's a good quote, Diana.
Thanks.
All right. I love that. All right. So here comes the second prong of this question.
Wait, I didn't know there was. Oh, okay. I thought that was the second prong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I guess, because we talked about your creative work and your writing.
Oh.
But what about, like, and I guess loosely, right? Like maybe your day job. Have you seen improv have an impact there?
Yes. And I think that everyone can use it because Matt will do classes at work. And I just think my people at work could use it too. But they're scientists and they're very open. They're very open to funny. They love the funny. So, and a couple of them came to my show to see Company Christmas, the radio play, and they like that. So I have some really nice friends that come and see my
Fantastic.
stuff. So I think that in that, the whole yes and, you don't have to, and the other, I hear what you're saying, and I want to go from there. And it's worked so much better than having kind of this agenda and people don't listen to each other. It's so much better when you just say, okay, I see what you're saying. Let's work with that kind of thing. So I think it's just interpersonal. And that's basically what any job is, right? Is just, because you may go and say, I want to do a certain job, but and you think this is really great when you're in school. But the real problem is probably the bureaucracy that makes it less wonderful. Not as wonderful as you thought it was going to be when you were in college. Mm-hmm. So anytime you make that human dynamics in just about any job, more smooth, basically. And I think listening to other people really helps with that. Yeah. So I try to do that. And then interesting enough, when you do it, the other person picks up on it and does it too. Yeah,
they'll reciprocate that behavior.
Yeah. And they won't even know they're doing it. They'll just do it because there's no tension there. It isn't, what are you doing? I have my opinion. And I've seen that before in the science world where they kind of get the attitude of, I know things and you don't, and they're going to trump them. And I think that was in the past more than it is in the present. So.
I like that a lot. Man, you nailed that. You nailed that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Just, the idea of people reciprocating that behavior is really interesting to me because I think you're right. It just takes like one person to do that and be like, you know what? I'm just going to listen. I'm going to let you say what you have to say and maybe we'll go with it.
It's amazing how just one, you think that you're not going to make a difference and one person can just make a complete change in the room. And it takes a little bit of courage to do that. But if you can be that one person, I think that can I think deep down everyone wants that kind of calmness and the tension that's caused by the anger. I think they want the calmness. So if one person kind of steps up and is the calming voice and listens and the whole yes ands and everything, then I think it's just a wave of everyone going, oh, great. Yeah, this is what we really want.
Okay. Yeah, it'll relaxing. That impact will spread throughout the room. Yeah. Ooh, spread. There it is. Amazing. All right. I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
And then we're going to do some improv.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! Woo!
Huzzah.
Right. Huzzah. Indeed. All right. So we'll call it second to last question. Do you have any like improv, let's call it pet peeves? Like something happens on stage and you're like, or just something that other improvisers do. You're just like, why'd you do that?
Oh, yeah, I think it has to be the denying thing.
Yeah.
And and I don't even think that it's a matter of, oh, I've come up with this great idea, how can you not do it? It's just sort of, let's just go with the flow. Or someone might say, just kind of yell or something. The yelling is just too much. It's like, we need to calm down. I mean, sometimes it has its place, the yelling, but a lot of times when it starts getting into too much yelling, and then I start yelling, and it's just, I need to make myself just go, okay, let's calm down.
Yeah. It's like if you start yelling, where do you go from there?
Yeah, no. It's like, so.
There's no room for a journey.
Yeah. So probably the denying or just getting too yelly.
Well, all our games tonight are going to be yelling. So.
Okay. I'll need some water first.
Yeah, you're like, all right, well, fine.
Fine, okay.
Yeah, they're all starting at level 10 and then
11,
just staying there.
At 11.
Yeah. Oh, great. We'll turn it up. Yeah. All right. My last question for you. Thinking about your improv work right now, because I know you're still in classes, you're still here, you're involved at the theater, right? What are some things that you're working on as an improviser, as a performer right now? Maybe some goals that you have in your artistic work or some techniques that you're trying to work on in your performance, whatever that may be. For
improv or just in general?
Let's say both, for improv and then just in general.
Well, like before, always not having an agenda but just kind of going with the flow. I just really like that because we've had a couple classes where you had a whole lot of people. We did that sleepover thing. Remember the sleepover thing where it's like all the girls are doing a sleepover? Oh,
the game, sleepover. Yeah.
Sleepover.
I was like, we had a sleepover? It's like...
With the cat, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So the last one we did, they don't always go that well, but this one was just like a wave of constructive waves. Yes. It was so good because everyone was just kind of going at the right time. And that was really nice. So I like the whole just sit back and go with the wave kind of thing and just listen to what they're saying because it's actually more fun because you're still analyzing, you're still thinking, well, what am I going to say to that? And that's a game in itself, right? It's just like, oh, they said that. What am I going to say? And what was the other question? Oh, in life.
Yeah.
Kind of the same things too. I mean, you got to mellow out, as you get. That's right. I think when I was younger, I just worried about stuff so much, and then you realize, oh, I'm getting towards the end of the amusement park time, so I've got to enjoy this a little more.
Got to mellow out a little bit.
Mellow out a little bit and just enjoy stuff. So, did I answer the question?
I think so. I think the end of the amusement park times.
When you get closer, and at the beginning, you're like, yeah, let's do that, and then, right, and then you kind of take it for granted, like, oh, I got plenty of time, and then when it's like, oh, it's going to close at 9, you're thinking, what do I really want out of my life or this amusement park?
Some good perspective. Some good perspectives got me thinking. I think I got to mellow out a little bit on a few things, so I will. I'm going to take that advice home.
It's like, what do you want to do with your life? Because as you get older, you have less time left.
Yeah, less time, and time is really all we really have. So,
thank you. You're welcome.
I'm gonna go home and rethink my life. I'm gonna get a cat and just rethink everything.
Just sit back, read a book, have a cat and a dog sit on you.
Diana has changed my outlook on life today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, really though, you posed some good questions and some good ways to approach things. So I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
All right, Diana, you ready to do some improv?
Yes.
All right. So we've got 3 games that we're going to be playing tonight to conclude this episode of Improv for the podcast. So this first game, it's actually interesting because it's kind of tied into something you mentioned. So you mentioned, right, the what if when it comes to writing. So we're going to be playing a game. And this is an experimental game. We'll see how it goes. But I have faith in us that we're going to be able to play this well. So we're just kind of going to ping pong back and forth.
Okay.
Just coming up with what if scenarios. And at some point, I'm just going to pick one, and I'm going to ask you to elaborate on it, and you're just going to make it up.
Okay.
Kind of on the spot. So like an example, it's a weird example, but it's like, what if everyone could fly on a broom like Harry Potter? That could be a what if. So you and I, we're just going to what if off the dome, see what we can come up with.
Okay. Are we doing that one or a different one?
We won't do that one. That's our example. We could do better than Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just think of a what if. You'll think of one. And then
you're thinking of one, and then we're going to riff off that?
No, I didn't explain this well. We're gonna, wait. So I'll start. I'll just think of a what if scenario off the top of my head, and I'll go to you. You'll think of one. We're gonna keep going back and forth until basically I pick one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to see what we come up with.
Okay.
And then we'll rip off the one that's chosen.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That was thank you. We're workshopping this game.
Yeah, I think so.
It's got potential. All right. So what if we had to use roller skates all the time? As soon as you got out of bed, roller skates.
What if clock time was actually slower than we realized it?
What does that even mean? What if, like everything technology-wise was still the same, but we still used torches for light?
What if there actually was a monster named a monster that was created by Frankenstein, and they took over the world?
Oh, I want to hear more about that. That's good. All right. So how did this monster take over the world?
Well, basically, Frankenstein made the one monster, and he insisted that he have a bride made for him. And after that, Apple decided that they could make something out of this, right? They say, well, I think everyone's going to want a monster. So they started creating these monsters because they figured this was the kind of new AI kind of thing, but a little more, organic, right? Because it's made out of parts. And then they would be able to open up all the graveyards, right? Because we really need the land. So they would start using the people. And then you kind of get charged for it because if your grandma was part of the monster, then you can say, hey, grandma's come back and the monster's part of that. So you'd have so many of these parts that were and people that were supposedly monsters that after a while the monsters would be the humans and they would be the norm basically, and Apple would be making tons of money off of this
always
until the monsters realized, or the fabricated humans decided that no, they were going to take over. Why is Apple running everything? Yeah. Right? That's run by humans. Ugh, right? Ugh. So they would take over, and then we became the disenfranchised, the people who are only they only have one person.
They flipped the script.
Yeah, they flipped the script this time.
So then there's a monster who creates a human.
Yes.
And there's just one human. Oh man. This is that would be rough. I'm just thinking about all the graveyards, just going through all that.
Well, yeah, because then once
you gotta do it.
Because like you said, once the monster creates the human again, it's been hundreds of years. We've kind of forgotten about everything. The norm is the monsters, who are not the monsters anymore, and we're the unusual. So when they create that starts all over. And whatever the new company is, it could be like Persimmon Company.
Persimmon computers. Persimmon monsters.
Yes. And then they decide to make a profit out of it. And then all of a sudden, hundreds of years later, the humans are in control again. And it's just this never ending. You know how human history just keeps going in cycle. Yeah.
History's told by the victor, right?
Yeah.
And how did Dr. Frankenstein live to see these changes, or was he used up, turned into a monster?
his monster, his original monster, really grew attached to him because he kind of taught him how to do things like sing
he was
and
his
dance
creator.
and stuff. Yeah. It's like his dad.
It's young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, right? If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you try?
Put on the roots.
Put on the roots. Yeah. So with that, he really loved them. So he kind of kept them in a glass case, just like Snow White,
sweet. Yeah.
and decided to, once the technology was better through persimmon, that persimmon computers, that he would reanimate him.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Blackout. Well, that was a great. That's wow. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. That's what it is. It's a what if.
It's the cycle of life. Yeah.
I like the book, Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein. So interesting book. I like Young Frankenstein. So that was right up my alley.
I mean, can you imagine writing a book that later on people are just they're just listening to, they're reading, they're making movies out of it. That's the goal, isn't it? I mean, she's immortalized.
Yeah, I mean that book. They learn it in school, but it's also in popular culture.
Yeah. And you've read the book, right?
It's
different than the other.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the book though. Just the overreaching ambition of man, and all this stuff. All the themes. This is a fantastic book. And then just Frankenstein's monster is a cool monster.
Oh, Boris Karloff did such a great job. I mean, when you watch Bride of Frankenstein, what's amazing is that at some point, he's a monster and he's killing people, but it's because he's basically a toddler in a giant body.
Yeah.
But then that part where he's with the old man and the older blind man, you feel sorry for him. Yeah. Just watching the audience go from like, oh, scary monster to, Boris Karloff did that like a champ, I think.
Amazing. It's just this episode's all Frankenstein.
Well, it's the day after Halloween. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, fair point. All right.
It's fresh in my mind.
I'm going to move us on to our next game. Now, this game, hand-picked, crafted for you, Diana.
Oh, yes.
This game is called Catastrophe. And in this game, you are going to play a cat who you're stuck in a situation and you need to explain your way out of it.
As cats do.
Yeah. I'm going to give you an example situation. So let's see. You knocked over a vase.
Uh-oh.
A vase. We don't know what kind of vase. But you need to explain it to me why you knocked over the vase and justify why you did it from the perspective of the cat.
I was a physicist in another life, and I like to watch things fall over because I love gravity, right?
Gravity, yes.
Right? Yeah. I mean, so I was Isaac Newton in another life, and gravity is very important to me. So every time I watch it, it's like its own experiment. It's like it's saying to me, yes, we have gravity, and therefore the world is good. Because if we didn't have gravity, what would we have? Chaos.
I guess we'd have chaos.
Everything floating up. So it's just a scientific experiment. And every time you tell me not to knock something over, you're inhibiting my scientific studies.
But Tabitha, that vase was a family heirloom, and when I leave the house, I trust you that everything's going to be fine while I'm gone.
But I have an impulse. I can't control it. Maybe if you made rubber vases instead, then it wouldn't be a problem.
I suppose so, but nobody wants a rubber vase, Tabitha. I know you're kind. You don't value vases the way we do.
But you just don't know what it's like. It's an addiction. I try not to do it, seriously, but it talks to me. It just says, please knock me over. It's like it talks to me in my head.
That's crazy.
It is.
Vases can't talk.
They don't.
Tabitha.
It's like it's talk. It's an impulse. I have a problem. Okay? I have a problem. And maybe you could help me with that.
I want to. I'm thinking. I'm scared to bring another priceless family heirloom into this home for the fact that you're going to break it. And,
I think what might help is more treats.
More treats? Okay.
Treats. Maybe if you had a case of treats, I would be distracted by that.
I could do that. I had a thought.
Okay.
And let me know how you feel about this.
Sure.
because we're problem solving on this, Tabitha, you and I. What if I left out some cups for you to knock over? Maybe I put them on the counter or in different parts of the house.
That is perfectly fine.
Okay, that would.
I just have a need to knock them over, and that's my addiction. And you have to understand that I just have to knock it. I just like to see where it's going. I like to see what happens. It's the what if. What if I knock this over?
What if I guess I could see how that could be fun.
So maybe if you put the Ming vase over the carpet area, so if I knock it over, it doesn't get broken.
Yes, that's true.
It's really it's just the feeling, the joy of knocking something over and watching it.
Yes. Well, Tabitha, I've never actually tried to knock something over on purpose.
Have you? You haven't?
No, it's always been an accident.
Well, that's your problem. Maybe if you tried to not, maybe if you just did it, you'd realize how addicting it is. It's like Pringles. Pringles for humans, right?
Yeah, you know, Tabitha. Yeah, you can't have just one.
I've seen you with Pringles. It's embarrassing.
I don't tell anyone about that.
It's like
I have a problem
with Pringles.
Well, tell you what, let's try this. I have a can of sour cream and onion Pringles right here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they have that now?
Yes, they do. They're my favorite flavor.
If I was a human, I would just...
Oh, if you were a human, Tabitha,
I would eat that.
You couldn't have just one.
I could. It's impossible.
Yeah, I guess Pringles are my vases.
Yes, you have to have them.
So I'm going to try this. I'm going to set this can here, and I'm going to knock it over, Tabitha.
Wow, that's just two.
What's going to happen?
Don't know.
I'm going to take the lid off so that...
so it crunches even more?
Yeah, we're going to see.
And then you accidentally step on them?
Maybe.
And it goes into the carpet?
We don't know.
Okay.
We can't know what's going to happen.
Okay. Do it.
No, I can do this.
Do it.
This isn't weird. It's just I need to show interest in your interest too.
Well, that'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm part of the family, and I'm kind of just hanging around the house. I don't get to go out to,
Yeah, I leave. I go to work. I go to see friends, and you're here all the time. But, Tabitha, I care about you.
I know.
And I want, like I said, I want you to see that I'm interested in what you're interested in. So.
I'm interested in what you're interested in, and that's why why I picked up on the Pringles.
That's very sweet. Well, that's why I'm gonna try and pick up on this tipping, this spilling.
Try it.
Here we go.
How was that? So satisfying, isn't it?
That was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun.
You know what makes it even better? Watching it as it goes down. And then just staring at it.
Oh my gosh, it was fantastic, Tabitha. I felt so free.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to happen.
Can I try your Pringles?
Yes, you may have a Pringle. Here you go.
Can I have another?
You can't have just one.
You got you.
Blackout. Oh, that was
so
fun.
Silly.
That was great. I think every pet owner would love to have that conversation.
What does the dogs do that's kind of like comparable to that? Circling?
Yeah, so they, when they like burrow, like when they dig in the carpet or like the bed or whatever, wherever they're. Yeah, so I guess that.
Yeah.
I've never tried that. I've never gotten in my bed and gone.
It might be really fun.
Yeah, spin in a circle first and then lay down.
Before you sit down.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Try
but
it.
Maybe.
We might learn from them.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Really opening my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird how it came in, but I've seen a meme where it's like a guy and a dog staring out a window, and it says like, I'm showing interest in my dog's interest too. And I guess that just like came out because I saw it like yesterday.
Yeah. I've seen that for the cats too.
Yeah.
It's like, because this one lady, how cats will look at birds and they go, kick, 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 kick.
Yeah.
She was doing that too.
Oh, it's like the chattering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always so interesting when they do that. Oh man.
I mean, think about it. They know our language. They know a lot more words than we do.
Yeah,
we don't know their
that's true.
words.
Oh no, not at all. Can't say a single thing. Yeah, but they learn their name. They have an idea for like what we're doing or what we're trying to communicate to them.
Oh yeah.
Ah man, we're so limited.
I know. Who are the brainiacs, right? We go out and work and support them.
It ain't us. Yeah, that's true. We do go out and work. They stay at home and they wait. They say, "What did you bring for me?
Yeah.
What did you bring to me?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Society. It's just a cat's world, and we're just living in it.
Yeah.
We're just living in it.
Go get Clum. Bring her home.
I know. She's gonna be there. She's gonna be there.
What does she look like?
I've only seen her at nighttime. I don't know where she goes during the day, but she has like white, brown, and black. I would say those are her colors.
Okay, calico.
Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, so if she's calico, probably female then. Yeah, because
yeah.
calico's she may be calico. I'm not great on my cat breeds. My sister has a calico, so I know that from growing up, and that's like the only, or like a tabby cat. I guess I could recognize. Yeah. That's it.
I got a tabby.
That's why I said Tabitha in the scene, because I thought Tabitha.
Tabby.
Yeah.
And Bewitched.
Oh right, yeah, Bewitched. Oh, okay. All right, we got one more game. One more game. No cats in this one. I know. What's the point? But cats have been a dominant theme this evening.
Yes.
It's all clam. So for this last game, Diana, this is inspired because I was thinking about camp, and I think some other improv scenes I've seen you do as well. But you are absolutely fantastic as playing like a villain, just like a super villain. And then you were even talking about it earlier, and I was like, oh man, it's just it writes itself. And I wanted to tee you up to give me a portrayal. So you are going to be playing in the scene a supervillain, a James Bond-esque style supervillain. And you are going to be explaining your plan to take over the world with a random object that I've picked for you.
Okay.
So you're going to be, this is that moment in the film where the supervillain, I have you now, blah, blah, blah. You're going to do it better. Okay. Explain your whole plan, how you took over the world, or how you plan to take over the world with a deck of playing cards.
Yes. I will confuse all the humans because I will do magic tricks. And while they are trying to pick the proper card, I will steal all the bank's money, basically. And it will mesmerize people. See these cards? These cards, you think this is just a jack, but it's not. Look into its eyes, and it will mesmerize you, and you will want to just give me everything, basically, and follow me forever. Is it working? Try this king. Is the king? Oh, he's even more powerful. Follow my words.
It's my wallet. Take it. Take it.
Yes.
Take it. Yes, my king.
Very good. And then the queen. Yes. Bowing is very important.
I have to bow. I can't explain it.
Can't explain. And the one. The ace.
What is happening?
That one is making you bow down before me.
Dr. Suits, you have to stop this. It's not right.
Not right.
How could it...
I'm not right. And I'm very bad. And James Bond, you will be in my power for the entire rest of my life. And my henchmen.
No.
Yes.
No.
And you want to do that.
I do.
You can't fight it, can you?
I want to serve. No. Oh, please. I'll fold. Cut the cards. Yes. Doctor, I just have one question.
Well, go ahead.
Once the entire human race is enslaved, what does your new world order look like? Your new civilization?
It looks like Apple. The corporation. I'm taking my inspiration from Steve Jobs. He's the most evil of all. And I don't like the competition.
There will be none. There will be one deck.
And they will all everyone will serve me tomatoes and mozzarella.
Devious. No more Italian flavors for the rest of us.
What is that even called? Tomatoes and mozzarella. It's very tasty.
This is bruschetta? No.
Something else. Right now, people are saying, no, it's this. It's this. That's what it's called.
But in your new world, you'll define what
I'm calling it Sam.
Sam. All the Sam for you.
All the Bring me more, Sam.
Blackout. Oh, I think cards are a hypnotizing thing. Just the power of street magic.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
There you go.
And then it's funny because I've seen a magician working, but I happen to be standing back here, so I saw the sleight of hand. But you can see it right in front of them.
Yeah,
magicians are.
It's pretty cool.
They can be pretty cool and pretty scary. So.
Yeah, pretty cool and pretty scary. I had a brief phase in I think like 6th grade. I was like, I think I want to do magic.
I did too.
Yeah,
everyone does.
Yeah, that's
like dinosaurs.
Yeah. Wait, magic with dinosaurs?
Well, no, it's just like something every kid.
Oh yeah, dinosaurs. You have a moment.
That'd be kind of fun. Oh my god, I hadn't even thought about that. We could have brought dinosaurs into this.
Oh, always. Dinosaurs are always needed.
Yeah, I want to bring this back.
Yeah, a couple T-Rexes, Triceratops, Stegosaurus. Yeah, get a few in there.
Did you collect those when you were a kid?
I think I did. I had a bit of a phase because I probably had like a T-shirt with a Velociraptor on it or something in Jurassic Park. There was a moment for dinosaurs.
I still kind of like them.
I mean, they're cool.
Yeah,
cool. And what do we have like them now? Like some reptiles, alligators and crocodiles, chickens, right? Yeah, I guess chickens are the more like scientifically accurate. Yeah, but chickens are so.
You could be loving. I've seen a little boy hug a chicken. One of those kind of videos. He had his chicken, he hugged him. So
yeah, it's like a viral video, like cute moment, kid.
Cute moment, kid with
kid hugs chicken.
That's right. Can't afford pet. Yeah. Can't afford cat or dog.
Gets chicken instead.
Yes. Oh, okay. Thanks for the chicken.
Mm-hmm, I guess
Timmy has a puppy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, my kid just has chicken. That's the way we went. Yeah. It's good for him. Yeah.
It's love.
Yeah. It's love. All right, Diana, before we conclude tonight's episode, are there any final words you want to leave us with? Words of wisdom, words on chickens, or anything at all?
I would say that it's very important to finish your vegetables.
That's true. Even the gross ones?
What are your gross ones?
Honestly, I thought it would change, but like peas are just, you
don't like peas?
They just kind of suck.
I hate lima beans.
Lima beans. Yeah, they're
the
great.
worst. Yeah. So if you could do something else with that. But I guess the words of wisdom would be just follow the improv, just the flow, just yes and everything.
Flow. Yes.
And realize that the end of the amusement park is coming sooner than you think. And you should enjoy the time you're here. Didn't you worry about a lot of stupid things when you were young?
Oh yeah, I still do all the time.
Yeah.
But as a kid, growing up and
like it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about it. I'm an impatient person, so I worry about things all the time because I'm like, this hasn't happened yet. I'm bad at the slow burn, which some things need that and others don't. Right?
I know, and this is totally just advice I'm giving to myself that I have to hear. But I can be that way too.
Yeah,
I just have to say to myself, just chill out.
Amusement park's closing soon. Eat your vegetables.
But not the lima beans.
But not the lima beans. Yeah, skip the peas. There's so many other better vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many. There's a couple we can cut out and nobody will mind. Nobody's going to miss them. Who would miss peas? Who would miss lima beans?
I can't stand them.
I don't know. Can't think of anyone.
You don't see them at fancy restaurants. I mean, there's like fancy broccoli. There's fancy cauliflower.
Oh, yeah.
But
Brussels sprouts, peppers, asparagus. We got salad, the world of salad.
And the tomatoes with the mozzarella.
Yeah,
tomatoes whatever that's
with the
called.
mozzarella. Yeah, can't think of it. It's not a bruschetta.
That's caprese.
Caprese. Yeah, like a caprese salad or a sandwich.
Yes.
Oh yeah, those are good. I mean, it's cheese and tomato and bread.
I know.
You're not going wrong there.
What's so special?
Olive oil.
Yeah, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's simple. Maybe that's why.
It's simple. Taste.
Yeah, we like simple things sometimes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Diana, for coming on the show. As always, thank you for checking out Improv for the podcast. You can find us anywhere there's podcasts or check us out on YouTube to see us do some improv in our chairs. As always, we'll be back next week with another episode. But until then, we'll see you next time.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Improv for the podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.